up, I know you guys had back-to-back place competitions. Today I am here with my team to present our views on how to guarantee admiration. Okay, so what is admiration? Okay, generally people get confused when I ask this question because admiration, love, and infatuation goes in the same line. So I'll tell you, admiration is respect and warm approval. So now, whom do you admire the most? Some answers? Okay, thank you. Okay, generally when I ask this question, people get confused, because people are people, so they get confused. What happens is, a lot of names come to their mind when I ask whom do they admire, or some people, they don't get any names in their mind. So what they generally tend to do is, they tend to think in the common line of their close ones, or they follow the common trend. So so when I ask this question, whom do you admire? How many of you thought of leaders? Okay. How many of you thought of celebrities? Okay. How many of you thought of social workers? Okay. Now, one different question. How many of you thought of your parents? Okay, nice. So, what are those qualities that made you admire them? Is it success, fame, money, or power, or talent? So when we started to make this presentation, we were brainstorming for ideas and we asked few of our friends, whom do they admire the most? And we got few of these names. And the reason why they admire them is, as I mentioned before, success, fame, talent, money and all. Do you think these are the real reasons why you admire them? Okay. So, do you think these qualities will guarantee you admiration? Imagine if Vineet has a lot of talent, will you admire him for that alone? Okay. Imagine if Prithvi is a billionaire, will you admire her just for that? Okay, so over to Deepak for more insight.
So when we asked people whom do they admire, one of the most common and prominent answers we got was that of Bill Gates. Now, why do people really admire him? Is it only because of the money or there is something else to add? When we asked people what was really about him that they admired, the most common answer we got was obviously his money. So, is it really the money that people actually admire about him, or is there something else to add? We'll try and figure that out in a couple of minutes. Another most prominent answer we got was that of Sachin Tendulkar. Now, why do people admire Sachin Tendulkar? Is it because of the 30,000 international runs, his glory, his fame, or his Ferrari? So let us try and find out, why do people admire these people? What we realized over the course of preparing for this presentation was the fact that people don't admire people only for the external qualities. What can guarantee people admiration is the external characteristics combined with certain internal qualities. Now, what are the internal qualities we are talking about? The internal qualities can be humbleness, the humility, the gentle nature, the respect that they show to others. So basically, what the point we are trying to put forward is that when you admire people only for the externalities, the admiration does not last very long, and the admiration is not guaranteed as well. So to get a guaranteed admiration, what we suggest is that combine the externalities with the internalities. Another thing that we came across this presentation, during preparation for this presentation, was the fact that when we asked people whom do they admire, not even one of them said, I admire myself. So is there any person there's no person out here who really admires themselves? Let's try and find out.
So, a lot many questions have been posed upon you. Let me just add one more to the list. So, how many times do you stand in front of a mirror and see a person in front of you and then say, yes, this is the person I admire the most. This is the person I really admire and I want to be. Not just because of the looks you've got, but because of the person, the personality you are. So, and see, we have discussed so many qualities over this stage today. And I'm very sure each one of you sitting out there must have one or the other of them. So why didn't you admire yourself? Why did you have to find out someone else to admire? And this is not something new for us. We have been doing since our childhood, but the fact is we have forgotten that. And why that happened? Let us consider a scenario. When, let us suppose take someone of you who is very good at public speaking, or someone out of you who is very good at caring for others or motivating others, but not very good at academics. So how many of you have faced this comparison? Let us go through a video.
ये तो नाच रहे हैं।
Silence! Speak in English!
The letters are dancing.
They're dancing, are they? Okay, then read the dancing letters. Trying to be funny? Read the sentence loud and proper. I said loud and proper, Ishan. Loud and proper.
So the point I want to make here is, it is not that we have forgotten admiring ourselves over the period of overnight or in some days only. It happens gradually. When the pressure comes from outside, when people around you criticize you, when people put pressure on you, when they demotivate you, then it happens that gradually our focus from admiring ourselves shift to something else. We find other people whom we admire. And it is not bad, but just that in that process of admiring others, you should not forget admiring yourself. When we were preparing for the presentation, we went through a lot of videos, and one video I came across was of this lady, Lizzie Velasquez. She has a kind of syndrome which generally makes her an object of fun, an object of mock amongst the people. And just focus on the fact how she takes that. She has visual impairment and she wears contact, only the left one, not the right one. And the reason she gives is, if someone comes to me and they say that I don't like you, they say bad things about me, or they demotivate me, I'll just tell them, please be on the right side. I do not want to see you. You do not exist for me. This is how she focuses on what she has and don't focus on what she lacks. So the point here I want to make is, invest in yourself. When you invest in yourself, then the admiration will be guaranteed. And over the period of time when we have forgotten admiring ourselves, how do we admire ourselves now? We'll follow.
Hello. Why is it important to admire ourselves? Let's try to answer this question. I'm sure everybody sitting here must have had challenges in their lives, and certainly since they are here, they overcame it, and so we must be proud of it. So the next question comes that how can we start admiring ourselves? It's not always easy for all of us to actually pinpoint the things that we like about ourselves. So we can break the entire process into 3 parts. To start with, we must begin to analyze the situations. The thoughts that we have is very important in our life, and it plays very important part in not just our lives but also the lives of people who are around us. It certainly. What kind of thoughts do all of us have? Is it positive or is it negative? So by learning to observe our thoughts, we can actually figure out the pattern that these thoughts follow in different situations. Once we have figured out that pattern, we must transform all those negative thoughts into positive ones. To help us out in this, we can follow an exercise which is called positive affirmation. Whenever we feel sad about ourselves or something like that, we can actually stop doing so and start having positive thoughts about ourselves on something on that line. We must make it a habit, and it will actually eventually get ingrained in our brains. Lastly, we should not force it upon ourselves. We must choose to admire the qualities within us. To support this point, there is a fact that every smoker in his life once or twice tries to stop smoking after persuasion of somebody close to himself. but eventually he sneaks out and finds some time or place where he can smoke. Until unless he believes that smoking is bad, he's not going to do so. So it's important that we believe in ourselves and choose to admire the qualities within us. Lastly, I would like to say that there is a thin line between self-admiration and self-obsession. Let's hear more about it.
Yeah, sometimes people admire themselves so much that tend to get some characteristics which can annoy the people around you. Like when someone is talking, a person who has more self-obsession about him, he will genuinely try to bring up his own topic and put it in front of the other people, and he or she may try to interrupt it. And this, in the process, will damage the relation between them. And it has also been seen that a self-obsessed person may find it difficult to enjoy the success of another person, because a self-obsessed person is threatened by the position of that guy, and he will worry that if that guy excels, it's a problem for him, and he gets into the rat race. Now, I will say that if a self-obsessed person gets a success, what it generates? It generates pride. I won't say pride is a bad thing, but it generates that kind of pride which is harmful. You can,
Come out of there. Come out right now.
What's the problem, Anisha?
2 घंटे से पूरा यूनिट वेट कर रहा है. It's a big ad film shoot, for heaven's sake. और तुम ये this awful habit? You better buck up, Shonali, हाँ? ये 3री कंप्लेंट है तुम्हारे खिलाफ. हमारे क्लाइंट्स तुम्हारे हर मिनट के लिए लाखों रुपए खर्च कर रहे हैं. मेरी एजेंसी, मेरा रेप्यूटेशन है. सिर्फ इसलिए तुम यहाँ हो अब तक. और अगर अपने आप को कंट्रोल नहीं किया ना, तो तुम्हारी पोजीशन लेने के लिए बहुत सारी लड़कियां हैं. Got it?
Yeah. So, what kind of characteristic do you find in Kangana Ranaut? I'm sure you will see this girl as egoistic, having bad manners, and totally unprofessionalistic. And she is not treating anyone else equally. So we can say that excessive pride can make a person alienate, and due to which the whole society may start hating you, and in the process you are harming yourself. So we should make a line between self-obsession and admiration. And next.
Thank you, Uday. By now, I'm sure you guys have got few wonderful insights from the presentation, right? We have drawn several conclusions regarding admiration. Now, let's come to the objective of admiration being guaranteed. Now, what is it when we really say admiration is guaranteed? Is it really the tagline of Fiat Linea, which has recently launched its car? Or does it have any meaning? Or how can we say an admiration is guaranteed? If yes, is it always guaranteed? Or if no, why is it not guaranteed? Do you think there's a definite answer for all these set of questions? Yeah, definitely no. See, each of you sitting here, so how can we go about this? See, each of you sitting here in the auditorium have different perspectives, right? Surely when my friend Akbar asked you whom or what do you admire the most, each of you had different insights regarding that. Some of you might admire your parents, your family members, or some great personalities, or celebrities, or certain things, or it might be the qualities that interest you in other persons. Now, most of us here are super critics of ourselves. We always try to find something admirable in other people where we forget to realize the importance of what we are capable of. So one thing that can be justified is admiration might be guaranteed, so you have a balance between both the things. That is, you admire others while you don't forget to admire yourselves. At the same time, it shouldn't be excess. As my friend Uday have already told you, self-admiration can also lead to self-obsession. So try to admire the qualities in others that you lack. Try to admire the qualities that you wish to possess. And try to look at the perspectives that differentiates you from others. Now, we have discussed several instances, right? How can admiration be guaranteed? See, 10 years down the line, don't you want to see yourself as the person to be admired? Don't you want to be on the other side? Obviously, imagine how would it feel when someone searches in the Google and finds your name in the top 10 or 20 list of the most admired people in the world. It's an ultimate success, guys. So what I'm trying to tell you is let your admiration in the present guarantee the success of your future. So we have been talking about the instances till now. Have you ever thought about one thing that is the most admired thing in the world and is guaranteed? So we have gone through a long thought process, and we have found one idea for you. So let's look at the video and see what it is. So yeah, it's as simple as possible, right? Nothing to think much, but yes, a mother's love. The person because of whom we are what we are today, and the person who helped us grow up, who always gives us advice, who always supported us on our way, is definitely one of the most admired person in this world. And surely the love given back is the guaranteed most. And with this note, I would like to end the presentation and call upon my teammates, Akbar, Monica, Deepak, Uday, and Ankit. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience, and please feel free to ask some questions.